this is Kara from Kara Tarot, and today I'd like to share with you a new deck that arrived. I mentioned yesterday I am on a no-buy. This is one of the decks I was waiting for that arrived yesterday. It is similar in tone to two other decks that I have, the Folkloric Forest and the Pensive Path Tarot. They're all collage decks or artwork-based decks that are perhaps a little less focused on the structure of the system and more on the feeling you get from the artwork. This also overlaps with my recent interest in landscape type decks. So this one kind of hits on two elements that I've been interested in more lately. And anyway, so it's right up my alley, and it's wonderful when this was definitely at the top of my price range, especially when I added shipping to it. It was definitely at the top of my price range, and it's wonderful when you decide to go for something and you get it and it exceeds your expectations. So I'll start with a walkthrough of the deck. Now, I got the book too. I think that was separate. It does come with a smaller book. No pictures in the small book, and in the large book it has black and white pictures. It's all, as with many decks now, it's all exquisitely produced. A beautiful, strong box, a two-part box. Unlocking the codes of the sublime of the Tarot Arcana with evocative Baroque, Romantic, and Gothic artworks. And a quote from Wordsworth: "And I have felt a presence that disturbs me with the joy of elevated thoughts." Sublime Thresholds Tarot. These are the backs, which are, I don't really care about whether backs are reversible or not. I do read reversals, but I don't mind. I don't care if I can look on the table and see that it's reversed. It doesn't change the way I read it. So you'll see each one of the cards has a word in English and then another language. I think it's Latin. Both books have a discussion of the psychological and philosophical definitions of the sublime and what sublimity is, and that is kind of essential to this deck. But for now, I'll just go through these. Many of these images are images you will have seen in other decks. I've seen them in other decks that I thought about getting, but I have to say I'm really glad I waited. Because this one brings a little more to the table than others. So that's the major arcana, and I forgot to mention, they come edged with this matte black edging, which is lovely. This photo, this painting, was used for the cover of a book about a real life explorer who was blind, and yet he traveled the world as an explorer. And they have forever been linked in my mind that way. It was a book I read years ago, at least 10 years ago. Um, so it has even more meaning for me. This image is used in many other decks. There's an out-of-print deck that's been on my wish list forever called Majestic Earth that used that image and some others of these images, and I realized this fulfills that for me. I no longer feel that I need that deck, and which is good because it's out of print. Now, I don't think I realized this deck, that is the end of the tarot deck, and if I knew this, I had forgotten that this also has its own oracle cards. So here we go with the oracle cards. So 10 oracle cards. Oracle cards, minor arcana, and major arcana. This sticker also came with it. I'm going to randomly pick a card from the major arcana, the Hanged Man. I find it interesting that this is a narcissist looking at his reflection, or at least it reminds me of that. And so there's quite a bit for each one. There's a quote. Oh, I didn't realize there are quotes for every card. You know how I love that. Oh, you're hearing pure joy. The Hanged Man. So we have a definition, the Sublime code, which is this word. So on each card, that is the Sublime code. The archetype is the Greek word, and this is Narcissus. This is circa 1600 by Caravaggio. I don't know that I've ever seen that version of Narcissus. And then a divinatory meaning, which you could also, if you don't do predictive divination, you could just use it as a meditative meaning. So there's a great amount, and here what it says for the meaning: retiring into meditation, expansion of consciousness, stagnation, cleansing one's reputation, patience, gaining secret knowledge, seen from an inner perspective, in limbo, life on hold, turning eyes inwardly, surrendering to divine guidance, facing courage, gathering intelligent insight, introspection, passivity, and esotericism. And the quote for this is by Sylvia Plath. By the roots of my hair, some god got hold of me. I sizzled in his blue vaults like a desert prophet. And it's from The Hanging Man by Sylvia Plath. So really wonderful, poetic. If you're used to watching my videos, you know by now that this fires on all cylinders for me. The quotes, and I can tell you right now, just having, I did look through it last night, but this is the first time I've, gone through it like this. And this, to me, just the feeling that I get for it, is what I had hoped Terra Volatile would be for me. I really thought Terra Volatile was going to be like the deck that made me feel that I didn't need any other decks, and it hasn't been. It doesn't mean I don't enjoy it, but it hasn't been. This, on the other hand, is. And I think you can tell by my tone of voice discussing it. It's just allegorical enough. It's not literal. So it really takes me to other places, and I'm so looking forward to reading with it. What I'm going to do is an Arcana Battle, of course, you know me. New deck, I have to do an Arcana Battle. So this is just the majors. Shuffles beautifully. It's a very slight smooth linen finish. It slides quite easily. I think most of you know that if you are only shuffling the majors, that can be difficult because it's a smaller group, but this is shuffling well, so it's a beautiful weight. It's just an excellent, excellent production. So again, as I've discussed, an Arcana Battle is when you respond just to the imagery. Keep the image that you like and replace the other one very quickly. So you're trying not to think about the meaning of the card or the fact that it is the Lovers or the Hermit. You're trying just to go with a kind of a knee-jerk response to the imagery. And here we go. So Strength and the Moon is my reading from this deck. So an intuitive internal strength, a willingness to understand that not all things are revealed at the time when we want them to be, and being strong enough to accept that, and gentleness and strength. And I'm going to add one of the oracle cards. Ruins. So let's look up. I don't know if they're in the oracle cards are in the book or not. Yeah, the oracle cards do not appear to be in the small book. They are in the back of the large book. Hark! Whence that rushing sound? 'Tis like the wondrous strain that round a lonely ruin swells. From Queen Mab by Percy Bysshe Shelley. The artwork is The Chapel from 1898 by Arnold Böcklin. This image was chosen because it represents the sublime codes of intensity, luminosity, waterways, tempest, loudness, solitude, doorways, archaic, picturesque, twilight, and ruins. And so each one of the oracle cards has a half a page. For the divinatory meaning, it says, quiet witness to eternity. Ancient ruins made up of stones echo time's forgotten worlds. Ask yourself what endures beyond all decay. What in your life or experience has a timeless spirit and is holding strong and steadfast, even though it may look like it's crumbling. Stand by your dreams and build solid foundations beneath your castles in the sky. Ruins and their fractured walls, cradling the dust of vanished ages, invite our souls to look, listen, and remember antiquity and the ancestral lineages waiting behind the scenes to awaken our wandering hearts to the wisdom in our own endings and beginnings ad infinitum. So adding to this strength and this, again, this kind of reinforces this moon, the willingness to allow things to be unknown and unseen for a while and just stand strong, knowing that time is larger than any passing current. Archways is the word for this. So that would be seen through to that which is dimly lit, and awe, and withstanding the tempest. Already so grateful for this deck. Thank you to Nitasia Roland for creating this. Her quote at the beginning of the book, may we always be in dialogue and interplay with the sublime in nature. Sublime Thresholds Tarot. I hope you've enjoyed exploring this with me, and you'll definitely be seeing it on my videos at one point or another. Thank you so much.